Good morning, good evening to all of you. My name is Abhishek Shrivastava and I have spent close to 29 years in the IT industry in the roles of a programmer, business analyst, project and program management. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how can you transition from a non-IT background to a business analyst profile. So it's a common belief that only technical people or the people with technical background or from the IT background can transition to a business analyst profile. That is completely incorrect. There's also a belief that you need programming skills to become a business analyst. That is also not true. Over the years, we have trained hundreds of professionals from non-IT background to become a business analyst. So keep watching. So now I'm going to discuss these 8 steps which are required for you to follow to transition from your current non-IT background to a business analyst profile. So you can see these steps which are required for you to transition to a business analyst role from a non-IT background. I'm going to discuss each step in detail, so be with me till the end of the video. Let's start with the step number 1, which is about understanding the role of a business analyst. So it's very important that before you get into any new career or any new profile, you need to understand what does business analyst do and what are the skills required to become a business analyst, and do you have the aptitude? Would you like to get into the role which is of a business analyst? This is applicable for any kind of a career change or for transition to a new profile. Do you have the aptitude? For example, if it's a customer facing role, if you are introverted, you will find it difficult to interact with the customers. But either you have the conviction and the motivation to overcome even that problem, then nothing is going to stop you. So, but be clear what are the expectations of a role and what you need to do to get into that role, which is the next part, which is what are the skills required to become a business analyst. As you can see on the screen, there are 4 primary categories of skills. First one is soft skills. So soft skills are important for business analysts. That is because business analysts interact with business on one side and the IT team on the other side. So they have to literally talk to 2 different sets of people who literally speak different languages, not in terms of English and French, but in terms of their mindset. One is looking at a business problem, other one is looking at the same thing from a technology perspective. So you are going to play the role who actually translates and becomes an intermediary between these 2 sets of people. So your presentation skill, communication skill, writing skill, all of these things become important. And that is why soft skills are important. Second one is the core business analysis related skills, like can you create prototypes, can you create process model, can you capture requirements, can you write SRS document, can you write FRS document. These are the core business analysis skills. Third one is functional knowledge. If you are going to work on a project which is related to a particular business domain, you need to be able to understand the language of the customer. For example, if you're working in a project which is related to capital markets, you should be able to understand the prices, the open, the high, the low, and so on. So that if customer tells you about some requirements, they're going to use those jargons. How will you make sense of it? So if you don't know any of these terms, you will not be able to make sense of the requirements. So it's important to at least understand the basics of a domain, which will include understanding the key terms and the processes. The last but not the least is the functional testing. You should be in a position to check the final developed software to just understand whether you're going to deliver what the customer is expecting. That's the least you can do. So these are the 4 broad level of categories, and I also specify the specific skills in each of the categories. Now, once you have understood this, then you need to conduct the third step, which is analysis of the gaps in your skills. So if you're a non-IT professional, you may think that you may not have any of the things which are required to become a business analyst, but that is not true. In many cases, many of the non-IT professionals do carry certain skills which are also useful for the business analyst profile. For example, if you are a salesperson and you are dealing with customers, you have that customer interaction capability. which is a positive for the business analyst role. If you are a technical writer, you have the capability to write documentations, which is again a required skill for business analyst. If you are coming from, let's say, a banking background, then you have the domain knowledge, which is also important for the business analyst. So if you're a non-IT professional, you should not think that being a non-IT professional makes your task of transitioning to business analyst extremely impossible or very, very complex to transition. That is not true. As I mentioned, there are going to be certain skills which you can carry forward. Okay. Even if there is nothing which you can carry forward, you may have to spend more time in acquiring those skills to transition. It's a matter of time. All these skills are not very complex to acquire. So if you give the proper time and you have the dedication, you can definitely overcome it. Okay. So now let's move to the fourth step, is that now you have to acquire those skills. So you can do training programs, you can work on some projects so that you can not only learn the theory part, but also you can apply these on projects. One important thing which I must mention here is that working on live projects does not provide you experience which you can show in your resume. There is no way you can fake your experience. What you can do is that by doing certain projects, you can feel more confident about how to work as a business analyst, and you also find it easier to answer the questions in the interviews. Next step, it's always good for non-IT professionals to get ECBA certified or get certified so that your resume gets some weightage when employers look at it. So IABA's ECBA certification is one of those certifications which are very popular for entry-level BAs. If you want to know more about ECBA certification, you can click in the I button. I'm going to provide a link to the ECBA certification details. Step number 6, update your resume. Very important, because when you're applying for a business analyst position, your resume should be aligned to that position. So you can highlight what kind of skills you have, what kind of learnings you have, and if you have worked in any project, even if it is a project which you have done in a training program or otherwise, do mention that. At least it will give you some weightage in the interview. So when you're making a resume, you need to use certain keywords, which kind of gives some meaning to your resume for the BA role. Because nowadays, most of the resumes are shortlisted first by an automated engine or a robot. So they look for keywords. So keywords like customer handling, UML modeling, use cases, process modeling, SRS and BRD documentation. These are the things which are keywords related to a business analyst. Next is do an internship. Step number 7. In most of the cases, since you are coming from a non-IT background, you don't have any background whatsoever, which means that for you to get shortlisted, you need to have multiple things in your profile. One is, of course, the certification. Second, working on a live project when you're doing a training program. Third is try and get an internship. Now, I understand that it's easier said than done, but let me tell you a few things which you can do to get it. 1, wherever you're working, if there is an IT team, you can request and put up a case that you're doing the course, you are doing the certification. So please allow me to assist some business analyst in the IT team so that I can get a hang of it. You need to spend additional hours maybe, but you can see how the business analysts are working in the project. If you have a friend or a relative in some other organization, you can try the same, or better, if you can request them to allow you to get into an internship position in that company. It's possible that there will be a hit on the salary. So I will not advise these steps if you are having a serious financial liability. Then you need to consider trying to move into a BA role in your organization or trying for a lateral movement to another company as a BA. Okay. So internship will give you that exposure to the actual business analyst work. And 6 months of internship at the most will be very, very useful in helping you landing a job. So the last step is prepare well for the interview. Interviews are a 30 to 45 minutes exercise. In that, you have to present your best case, right? as people say, your best version. So there, it depends on how well you answer the questions, how optimized your answers are. Number two, there are situational questions or behavioral questions. So you need to prepare for that. These behavioral questions have maybe 10 or 15 scenarios at the most. So you prepare for them. You think about your past projects, your past interactions with customers, with your colleagues, with the team members, or simply prepare the answers looking at the internet. So that when you are answering those questions, it comes naturally out of you. They don't get a feeling that you are making it up. Okay, so that practice is very handy. So preparing well for the interview is important. So I have written a book on BA interview questions and answers, which is available on the Amazon India as well as Amazon worldwide websites. Please note that these steps are very generic. So we have discussed these 8 steps. These are generic 8 steps. Not every professional is the same. Your background, your timelines, your current workload may differ from the other professionals. So I urge you to adjust these steps to your liking and to your current situation. In case if you have a problem and you want my help, you can contact me at this given email ID. I'll be happy to help you. I wish you all the best. अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आए तो प्लीज़ लाइक करें, मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें एंड नोटिफिकेशन आइकन पे क्लिक करें ताकि जब भी नया वीडियो मैं बनाऊं आपको नोटिफिकेशन जा सके। थैंक यू, धन्यवाद।